This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. A couple of months ago, I started asking for people who weren't subscribed to subscribe, that I'm almost to 500,000 subscribers, and it's only with your help that I'm going to be able to get there. And I wanted this goal to be at the end of the year. And here we are a couple months later, and I'm within 2,600 subscribers to 500,000. So please, if you have not subscribed, if I bring you value, if you watch my content, please subscribe and ensure that if you think you are, maybe you're not, check and see. And if not, please subscribe. Teresa on Twitter tweeted me something, and it brought to mind that more times than not, conservatives make me angry. Conservatives make me furious at their attempts to end democracy in America, their attempt to divide us, their attempts to sow hate and division and bigotry among outgroups, marginalized communities, the black community, black and brown people in general, the LGBTQ community, this new war against trans Americans. It's disgusting. But there's another part of me that sometimes gets a little bit of joy because they're so stupid. And another part that's really feels bad. I have empathy for people who feel so powerless in their lives that they find comfort in conspiracy theories. Getting back to the fact that Teresa tweeted me this video, several of me and Farron and some others, and I thought, this is just a one-off. There's no way this is like a common thing that's being spread. So I want to play 3 TikTok videos for you of people who are asserting that we're not teaching cursive anymore, cursive writing, for a sinister reason, in order that new children who are being brought up in the education system don't have access or the ability to read the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Watch this bananas set. And there's more than what I'm just going to play. I'm going to play 3, but there are many, many more out there. So we can all determine whether we're going to be angry about this, whether we're going to laugh at them, whether we're going to feel bad for them, or maybe some combination of all of that. Watch this.
So you know how kids are not being taught cursive anymore in grade school, handwriting? Cursive, okay? And you do understand that the Constitution and other big documents from the past are all written in cursive? So it's another form of indoctrination. These kids that grow up to be adults are not going to be able to read the Constitution because it's written in cursive, let alone sign their signature. This is Biden's America. You know, when we say we're conservative, that means that we want to conservatively reach a place where we can be rational, make smart decisions, and have, some morals and some backbone. Liberals, Democrats, you need a fucking backbone soon. Because this country has no backbone unless you're a conservative.
Interesting thought for the day. So I've been noticing that schools don't teach cursive anymore. And you may think that's an outdated thing, but I want you to really question why it is that cursive would even matter in the first place. Well, if we go back and look at all the founding documents we have, such as, Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, so on and so forth, they've all been written in, guess what? Cursive. So if today's youth is not taught that in school, they no longer know how to read those items, which means they now have to rely on someone else to tell them what it says. So I'll leave you with this. Do you trust the government, or anyone else for that matter, to tell your kids what that important set of documents actually says? Think about it.
So my youngest son and I was speaking last night about how the teaching of cursive writing is just in the past in any public school, any school as far as I know. Maybe this is something TikTok has covered before and I've just missed it, but just curious as to how many of y'all really think so that our children cannot read the Constitution or the Declaration or anything that was written in the early days.
All right. One, Do you think that any one of those three ding-dongs has sat down with a copy of the Constitution of these United States written in cursive in its original form? Do you think they've sat and read the whole thing in its cursive form? Because I've read the Constitution many, many, many times, and I've never sat and read it in its original form. I have read it on the internet. If only there was some method by which we could read ancient documents transcribed in their original language. Because some of the claims there were that it's going to be interpreted or it's going to be translated to children. Well, that's just, even when you read the Constitution, the preamble of the United States Constitution, even the way they spelled the words back then are recreated for us. We don't spell defense with a C anymore. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility. And then it gets down to provide for the common defense with the C. In plainly written Times New Roman font. It doesn't have to be cursive. How else could we extrapolate this to explain to these conservatives who do feel powerless, and this gives them some sense of understanding of things that some normal people don't get? They're in the know. It's conspiracy thinking. But do they also, if we're going to extrapolate their theory out, did we stop teaching Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic and Coptic? Do we stop teaching these languages in America too, so you couldn't go to the source and read the Dead Sea Scrolls or the original texts of the Bible? Or do you read the Bible in a book that's in your language in clearly written text? See, this is the problem with conspiracies. They make a lot of sense to these people. They wear their "don't tread on me" hats, and I was having a conversation with my son the other day. They feel like they're touching on the unknowable. They've got a lifeline in on information that is secret. And it makes them feel powerful when their lives are, like anybody else's, just going along to get along. But they want to feel powerful. They want to feel in control. And they feel in their hearts like their lives are meaningless without the conspiracy. The problem is that conservative leaders, people like Donald Trump, people like Ted Cruz and other, I'm going to talk about him later, so he's on my mind. Leaders in the Republican Party know this. Your Roger Stones and your Mike Flynn's who promulgate theories about demonic portals over the White House, who promote the QAnon conspiracy. They do this, people like RF Kennedy Jr., they do this because they know that the masses of low information rubes in the Republican Party are going to lap it up. They're here for it because they don't feel like their lives are complete. They feel stupid. They feel out of the loop. They feel like they are low information voters. But if they have this secret special knowledge, they feel less that way. And in that way, I do feel bad for them. But not so bad that I'm not going to defend American democracy. Not so bad that I'm not going to, promote the idea that you don't need cursive writing to understand the very plain language of the United States Constitution, written, whether you read it on the internet, in one of maybe a million different websites that have the text of the Constitution, or in little pamphlet booklets that conservatives, trust me, when they wave their pocket constitutions, it's the plain text version. They're not carrying around transcripts or parchment paper copies of the Constitution. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call. Leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Again, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Just a reminder, That would be fantastic. If I bring you value and you want to help support my work, produce my work, you can monetarily support what we're doing here. Click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month. Click that super thanks button, or even better, go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Follow me on social media where all of the text is in plain English and not cursive. Sorry, kids, no cursive on the Twitter. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.